Welcome to a new edition of Gerety Talks. We are here today with one of Germany's most influential creative leaders, creative chairwoman, non-executive chairwoman of Jung, first female president of ADC Germany, jury chair for many global awards, and advocate for creativity, diversity, and women in the industry. We welcome today the amazing Dörte Spengler-Ahrens. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
You started as an art director, switched to copywriting, and quickly became a creative director at Jung. How did these early transitions shape your approach to creative leadership?
Um, I started studying communication and design, and I found out that art direction is wonderful and it's really fulfilling. But I noticed that, especially as a woman, if you start concepting and writing, you will be taken more serious than just the person who adds the visuality, the pictures, right? So, and I was always somebody who wanted to have concept ideas and creative ideas coming out of strategic thoughts, and so I loved the that, and so I thought, okay, if it's like this, I'd rather spend half a day of thinking of ideas than thinking of how to make them pretty.
Mm.
So that's why I changed it, and I asked my creative director at the time if this is a if we can do it, and he said he was great and said, yeah, do it. And from that day on, I started writing.
And in 2000, you founded Maria, a pioneering agency focused on female brands and led by women. What was the inspiration behind this, and what lessons from that experience still influence you today?
Um, it was very early.
Yeah.
It was very early. It was 2002. No, 2000, as you said. Yeah. We found the company Maria. It was the first women's agency, which was not only for female target groups, but also we said only women can understand and feel other women. So we were very self-conscious and said, give us all the accounts, including things which are not primarily female. Like it's more than lipsticks and women's magazines. It's like almost everything, every consumer good in a household. The decision to buy it is taken by women. So we started that, and we were pretty successful. We were five women in the original setup. And we had a client in 1 month. We had a big client for us, a sufficient client, and it was great. The only problem was we were too early. So at that time, even if the audience would have been open for the concept, the clients who were inviting us for pitches, it was all women's magazines and cosmetics. And after a year, I said, I can't go on like that. Before I had a responsibility for big accounts from savings banks over car rentals. Yeah. And so I went back to yeah, work on regular clients again, I must say. Yeah. But
And
it
why
was a
did you
great
call it
experience. Hmm?
why did you call it Maria?
Excuse me. Ah, so, yeah, because it's even if we are not like religious, but we thought it's like this word, this name is a symbol for she is the beginning of everything. With her, history in a way started in the mythology, or if in the religion. So in German we say Urmutter, which means like the mother of everything, the first mother, the biggest mother, the mother of everything. Yeah.
And coming back to these days today, there's kind of this discussion or clash between business about getting results and or being creative. How do you balance commercial needs with creative expression?
I have the strong belief that you sell better with better creativity. And this is not my belief. This is, thank God, this is proven. I think even Cannes had many reviews and analyses where they could show everybody around the world, all the clients, that if they are having a more surprising way to tell their message, with a creativity that has an emotional impact on people, then they will sell more. And I know it by now because I'm so long in the business and I have done everything you can imagine. And the strongest campaigns in terms of the biggest emotion in it had the biggest impact on the people, the recipients. And with a bigger impact, you have a stronger feeling for a brand, or you have a bigger urge or need, or you want to buy that product. So I'm totally convinced, and as our agency does, and many creative colleagues strongly believe in the need for, we call it conquering hearts. If you conquer hearts of consumers, they will be open for everything you want to tell them or sell them.
Hmm. So it's basically linked, both things.
No, I think it's even more. If you are not creative, you won't sell,
Hmm.
because that's an experience many companies are going through at the moment. That, for example, performance marketing only is not increasing the sales. Why not? Because first comes interest. Interest comes out of emotion. So first comes interest, and if I have an interest for something, then I'm open for offers. If I'm
Hmm.
not interested, I'm not open for offers. Very simple. So that's why performance marketing was what was for some years ago, 5 years ago, this was the thing everybody wanted to do. And they called their agencies and told them that they can stop with brand communication. And they want to really, it was like that. CMOs quit, and other CMOs came, which had their roots in performance marketing, and completely switched the whole budgets on that. And now they are all switching back because they now learned the lesson that interest, emotion, interest, sales, not the other way around.
And with AI, data, and tech reshaping the industry, how do you define creativity today, and what do you think it will look like in the next decade?
So first of all, when AI came up more and more, many people, how to say, were in panic or afraid that they would lose their jobs. Very basic. And it's still, of course, that's a development which is going on in some professions. But the human beings, I tried to find a picture last time I talked about it. We are like, we are so long on this world, and we have instincts which are probably rooted in the Stone Age, yeah. So we have instincts like little animals. So our instinct is, if we see something and it's not human, our senses kind of, we can sense it, yeah. We feel it, we see it in a way, we feel that it is not a real human talking to me. So this is something that some brands had to understand, that you cannot just replace human beings through artificial created material, yeah,
Mm,
because it will not have the same emotional impact, and it's all about emotional impact, as we just said.
yeah.
So that's the one effect. But what I find, also, that's the very simple and direct, how to say, result of the first, what was coming, what we had as as an insight after some tries. Like, for example, the most terrible time of the year, was it McDonald's? This was a big commercial some months ago for Christmas, and it was a total disaster, because people rejected it and said, "This is get away with this. We don't want to see this. This is not human." I think there's a big chance in when it comes to our work in AI. First of all, you can much better than we ever could before get an idea across before we realize it. So we prompt the wonderful things in the idea phase. So if you have a big idea and you want to get it across to clients or target groups or something, it's a great. You have a wonderful many ways to do that, much better than we could ever do before.
Mm.
And when it comes to realization, I guess we are at the moment in we have this is all experiments going on. So, for example, what I just for me for myself, I have a lot of joy in having crazy stuff done with AI. I don't know if you've seen these films where cats and dogs are driving cars.
Yes.
Or so when it comes to absurdity and humor, which is absolutely over the top and it's not like human emotion, but it's humor. Yeah, I think there's a great new canvas. We can come up with new ways of creativity. So I think there's a lot of things to come in that direction. But as soon as you start to copy and imitate human emotion, this will not work.
Mm.
You will see this. So the more average stereotype stuff you produce with not human, if you try to get across human emotions, then you will fail. But if you take that and I mean, imagine what we did some years ago when we came up with CGI, what we did then. There's this wonderful TV ad for I think was it Sony? No, it was PlayStation. It's a film where it's about the genius of humankind, and it's a monologue of a guy getting out of a car, and in the background you see suddenly dinosaurs, and it's a wonderful piece. So if you combine things, we call it hybrid. So if you combine the wonderful expressions and the fantasy and the acting and the emotions and all that, yeah, created by an actor. And you combine this with the wonderful new world, what you can now build without that you can see, oh, this is CGI. So if you have this combined, then it's a bigger impact than before. So this is also great. Yeah. So I
Mm.
would say AI is a wonderful new world for us to experiment with new creativity. But I'm very convinced and sure that we will, if you start to, if you want to imitate human power, emotion, expression, you will fail.
Mm. That's very
Sorry, this
clear.
was a very long answer. I hope you
No,
can.
no, but that was very,
Yeah,
very interesting.
okay.
And I guess with all the years you've been working, you have a lot of favorite campaigns, but can you choose one and tell us why?
One campaign.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is really tricky. This is like, what's your favorite song? Um, Yes, maybe. I would take a very old piece. Why? Because it was beyond advertising, and it was for me not relevant product. It was for Guinness, and it's like from the 2000s, I guess. And it's I don't know if you've ever seen it. I will give it to you later. It's for Guinness for those who wait, and it's about surfers. And
Mm,
the main character you see first is a guy he's a little bit not handicapped, but his eyes are going like that. And you have a portrait of this man, and you have a wonderful poem, and from a wonderful voice, a male voice, saying that wonderful text. And this has such a strength that nobody who ever saw this once in his life will ever forget this. And there's several ways of arts who have that power. Of
mm,
course, we love hilarious things like Skittles, yeah? Skittles, where the guy had, I think, 2,000 times apologies
Yes.
for every critical post he received. Yeah, he apologizes for the new flavor that nobody liked. So this is kind of milestones of advertising, totally new ways of emotion, totally new ways of perspectives, tonalities, from super serious to supernatural to very funny. So this is what we love to explore, and this leaves impressions. Again, it's all about impact, emotional impact. If this is
Mm.
laughter or you cry, I mean, there are so many different things with different mechanisms. For example, the cancer story. I don't know if you remember that one. I think it's 2 years ago. A film. It's about a young girl in school and the problems of surviving cancer. And the very end, after like 5 minutes of film where she comes back to school and so on, then it's about the most fatal, no, do you say mortal effect on children. So what is the thing that children die the most in America? It's not cancer, it's violence,
Yes.
gun shootings in the schools. And this leaves you like, what? So it's a total new approach to no, they don't say guns are bad, you should not support this, blah, blah, blah. No, they show you a piece over cancer, and at the very end, they tell you that the pity you feel for this child is good, but it's the most mortal, yeah, they all die. How to say, the number one as a reason for children in America to die is not cancer, it's guns.
Yes.
So we have so many different ways. So we have to surprise the audience. We have to make them be impressed, ideally emotionally. So they should have an impact. And in an ideal world, they never forget what you have, what you wanted to get across with your ad.
And you've worked to increase women's representations in organizations like ADC. What structural changes do you think the industry still needs to truly embrace diversity?
Yeah, I'm living in a country in Germany where the percentage of women in leading roles in creativity, especially unfortunately, but also in the business, is very small. So we have only 13% of women in leadership roles in our industry, which is a scandal. In America, I think it's 50%, and you can feel it. It's still a boys' club. So if I on the client side, it's different. Also, if you watch the top management level, especially in the car industry, which is funny in a way, they are all run by women. So the CMO level is women, but not on the other side of the table. So I try to do my best. I was the first female president of Germany's Art Directors Club, and I tried my best to bring this not only to the consciousness, but also to really change things. And so, for example, we said we want the honorable persons who are honored by the Atarax Club is only female this year. Or we want to have the new applicants for the Art Directors Club should be only women for some years, just to catch up a little, to bring. And so we have a 50-50% a quota in the juries. So we are not like a boys' club with one decoration woman, or some juries were just without any woman. So that's what I try to improve and to create a movement, also with empowerment programs, ADC, Future Female programs, to just make it a topic and to encourage young women they want to be part of this and they want to have their seat at the table. And this was a lot of effort and energy, but we had also some success. So this was important. Is still important. It's super important. So, and that's not the only diversity topic. It's also age. Why do in our business everybody over 40 or 50 latest is kind of, we don't know where they go. Is it like an elephant cemetery where they all like die and never come back? So it's really, it's a, and all the other diversity topics. So color, people of color, of other, how to say, gender topics, transgender, all that is, it's a lot of, I strongly believe that diversity is crucial to have a team which comes up with surprising ideas. So this kind of mix of different
Mm.
gender, talent, background, culture creates normally the most surprising solution. So why should we not do that? And this is a long way still to go in this country, especially. I think in other countries they're much more advanced.
And speaking about younger generations, you're very much invested in helping the new generation. What advice would you give young creatives who aspire not just to create great work, but to lead and shape creative cultures?
Okay, so my biggest advice for young people is always find out for yourself what you like most and what you admire most and what you feel the strongest about. What do you want to do? What is the find out what you want to create. And as soon as you found out, then go there where the best people do exactly this. So go to the source where this is created, what you love the most. And then and don't make compromises. Don't go somewhere and I will learn something there as well. Yeah, maybe. But if you want to be one of the best in creativity, go to the place where this yeah where it happens, yeah, and make no compromise and stay there until you think that now you can do it. For example, I had an applicant and I was asking my assistant, who is this? Why is he sitting the whole day in front of my office on a chair? And she said, yeah, he took place there and he said he will sit here as long as it takes to have 5 minutes to talk to you. And nowadays he's, I think, regional ECD in South America for an agency. So he's a very famous or very successful person, creative. Yeah. And I meet him sometimes in juries. So yeah, that's what I did. I was looking at that at time where's the best agency, which do the stuff I admire. And it took me some time to go to be, how to say, accepted and to
Mm.
would start working there. And then from that day on, I went my way, as we say here. And yeah, go there, learn.
And talking about juries, you've been in juries for many international creative awards, including Gerety in previous years and this year as well. What kind of campaigns or trends or ideas would you like to see rewarded this year in the international festival circuit?
I think the best way, no, let's start again. The stuff I would love to see in juries is the stuff with the biggest emotional impact on me, as it makes me laugh or it makes me cry or it's totally convincing because the argumentation is so strong, or it's totally fresh or it's new or it's radical, it's hilarious, funny, or absolutely absurd. It goes new ways. I'm not a technical person. I don't want to see the latest trend of AI. No, I'm not interested in technical dimensions. I think if an art is still making me laugh, cry, believe, doubt, then it must be great. Why? Because I've seen everything. So I've seen everything so far. A lot of tons of arts, millions in all the years I'm working now. So if something is standing out, and my colleagues in the juries, they're also very experienced. They know everything. So if we are still thrilled or just it makes us laugh, then it's a good one. Why?
It's a good sign.
Because it's fresh, new, surprising, and convincing, and yeah, and it's just great. And I love this. For me, this is the best time of the year if I can be in a jury. I love to see fresh stuff, and yeah, it's the first days are always terrible because you have so many average, conventional, boring ideas, yeah, and you kind of have to go through everything, and then a very small rest is how to say you concentrate on this and eliminate everything else. And that's the best part when you sit together with other creatives and you can discuss it with all temperament. And we sometimes we fight for days to because we love one idea so much and we want to that it wins something. Yeah, that's the best part. It's like a as if you had an infusion with creativity and power and inspiration, and it's revitalizing, and you go home and you're so full of energy. It's fantastic. I love that. So Garrity is great because it's not how to say it feels like as if you would be with your best friend, and it's a certain kind of not fighting for kind of how to say for who has who says more than the other person, who is has the better arguments. It's more like you feel comfortable, you feel so if you have an only woman jury, so you have this kind of you have don't have to fight for the place at the table. You just sit there and talk about the stuff. You are not having any conflicts and people who are cutting off in your what you say if you're interrupted, you can speak, you get heard, you listen to each other. There are no competition between leading roles and all this shit. You are just sitting there and having a great time focusing on what we love the most, everybody in the room. So that's why I like it so much. I was always when I started and heard the first time about the Garrity, I thought like, how will this be different? So what will be the difference to a regular normal jury where normally you have like 3 women, 7 men, or if you're very lucky, it's 4 women and 6 men. And I very often in my life was the only woman in a jury. So this is always different. And I thought, what could be the actual difference talking to my colleagues? Will there be another atmosphere, another result? And I found out, no, the results are not so different because
Mm,
the professional look on things is the same.
it's the same.
But the situation and the how we get there is different. And that's what I like so much about this award.
And what do you imagine yourself doing if it was not advertising? Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah, it's totally so I thought I would have been maybe a good psychiatrist, a shrink
Okay.
listens to other people's and try to help them in a way to improve certain. So the other thing I thought maybe I could be a good storyteller. So somebody who just writes books or thinks of feature films or something. In some very special moments with big self-confidence, I thought I could have been maybe an actress, but I think that wouldn't be a wouldn't have been a good idea. Yeah, I mean, like artist, yeah, maybe, but an artist, I always need a task. So if I have to find myself, I would need something to love the idea of something, and then I could be maybe an artist to be against something, for something. But so creativity coming out of nothing, la pour la, as the French people say, I don't think I'm that person. So I always need something I want to tell people. Yeah, I think that's so creative, definitely yes. But in what dimension, I don't know.
And the last question to wrap up, a wish for this year that is just starting.
A wish like in a professional way or like to general wish?
General wish
For humankind or myself
for
or
yourself.
for myself?
What would you like 2026 to offer you?
Yeah. Um, how to say this sounds maybe a little strange, but if I had the pleasure and also got honors and awards and prize and so on. But the other part of my life, which is like family, my son, my husband, my dog, and health, and having a good time, a life besides the work, that becomes more and more important. So I would, if I have a wish, I would hope that there would be more peace around us all, and there would be more health around us all, many friends. And maybe it's a kind of perception thing, but on the other hand, I think it's more or less around you. A lot of people have problems, and all these problems, if it's if they're the life circumstances, people losing jobs, getting really serious sicknesses, illnesses. And there are so many different, climate is a big problem. Climate problems is very, here we have ice age at the moment. And so there are so many things going on. The war, the political world we have, like Trump and all that. There's so much going on that my biggest wish would be more harmony and happiness you could have with the people you are around you, but also, yeah, in the world that we are in. So it would be wonderful, more warmth, more healthiness, more peace of mind.
Let's wish for that then. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy, and
Yeah.
for everything you've told us
It was a pleasure. It
about your
was a
life.
total
And
pleasure.
hope you
Yeah.
have all the best for 2026 and some nice campaigns and nice projects coming out.
Yes, we will do our best. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.